Hello, Ben. Can you hear me?
Yes, Roger. Yeah.
Yeah, hi, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I have to go now.
Yeah,
So,
no problem. No problem.
okay.
I know it's sometimes difficult to match all the time.
Yes,
Yeah,
great.
everything was good. I'll stay till the end of this YNS Continental webinars.
Okay. Grace has joined us
Hello,
today.
Grace. Hello.
Hi Raj, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. How is everything?
Great.
Great.
Nice to see you here.
Nice.
So we're waiting for.
Hi Ben.
Hello, nice to see you, Grace.
Nice to see you too. How are you?
Yeah, great. I can see that the clock behind you is 10 or 7.
Yeah? Oh, yes, it
Seven.
is 10 minutes to 7 now.
Yeah.
AM. Yes. Your
Morning.
eyes are very sharp.
Yeah.
That's
Great.
very good.
Neurosurgeon's eyesight is very sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It will be a hard work for you to be on duty on a Saturday.
Yeah, I'm working today in the morning until tomorrow morning. Morning, night. I'll be out tomorrow morning. I'm doing my double shift.
I see.
Yeah.
Similar. Sometimes I need to be on duty Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. From 9 to 9.
Yeah, come again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm having a similar schedule. Sometimes I need to be on duty on Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 9. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a heavy one, but it's good for us.
Yeah.
Yes. How is everything there?
Yeah. So usually, because I'm working in Hong Kong, so usually we're working from Monday to Friday, but for Saturday and also Sunday, it depends. It depends on. So I need to shift with my colleagues so that we sometimes get holiday duties and
Mm,
ready. Yeah.
that's very good. But we normally work 5 days a week. We are supposed
Yeah.
to work 5 days a week and having 2 day offs. But because of the shortage, we don't get day offs. The day
Yes.
offs have been, yeah, we come into what to work for the 7 days, but those 2 days which we are supposed to be off duty, they pay us as call. So
Yes.
we don't, yeah, we fill the forms, special forms, then at the end of the month they pay us as call, special call.
Yes. Yes. Similar. Yeah. But it's
Okay.
good to be good to work and learn.
Yes,
You are
you
making
become active.
yes, and you are making full use of your days.
Oh yeah, sure.
So are you going to do your morning run very soon?
Morning what?
Run.
Run.
Yeah.
No, I normally don't get enough time because the way the timetables are means you have to work early in the morning at
Yeah.
4 a.m. to get prepared. At 5 a.m. you have to be out of the house. So the means of transport, you have to be at work at 7 a.m. So you don't get enough time for the morning run. But if you are from night shift, maybe the sleeping day, in the evening you can just do some jogging.
I see.
Mm.
I see. So
Yeah.
we have another person. Diva or Dia.
It is Divya. Divya.
Hello, I'm Divya. Hi, Dr. Raja. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you? All good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Nice to see
Oh,
you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
nice to see you.
So because I don't know how to pronounce your name, Diva.
Divya. Divya.
Divya.
Divya.
Divya.
Divya. Ah.
Hi,
Hi,
Divya.
hi, 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 hi. How are you?
I'm great.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Mm.
Um,
Hello, Metungi. Metungi, can you hear us?
Hi, Prof. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello. Good afternoon.
How are
hello,
you?
Chunyi. Nice to
Good
meet you.
afternoon.
No.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Hi,
Are you at
Matroni. How are
work?
you?
Hi. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to see you here, but I don't see your face. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I am outstation.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Are you at work now?
So how's everything there?
Everything is fine. It's a bit cold, windy, but we are managing.
Okay, good.
Yes. Are you at work now?
No, I'm back to my hometown, and tomorrow I'm going back to Kuala Lumpur.
Okay. I'm
to
so happy
settle
to see you.
something.
You know
Yeah.
how I miss you. I
Okay.
miss you so much.
I miss all of you.
Thank you.
So very busy at the moment. Everyone is
Yeah.
busy. Every one of you is very busy.
Yeah, very busy, no day offs, doing works day and night, but we managed to get some time for webinars.
Good. You all are doing a great job.
Hello, everyone.
So, Dr.
Hello.
Grace,
How are
Hello,
you?
Ibrahim.
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm
Yeah.
great.
Where
How
from,
is everything?
Metungi?
Yeah,
Hello.
it's
Hey, Hui, so nice to see you. How are you, man?
yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Nice to see you, Fam. Thank you last time for hosting having the host.
It's
I
my
have an
pleasure.
emergency.
Yeah,
Keeping, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Atik is here, Atik.
Good morning, Ben.
Hey,
Yeah,
Atik.
nice to
Hi,
see
how
you.
are you?
Yeah, Raja. I'm fine. How are you all?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you.
People coming now. Professor Kato. Hello, Alberto.
Hello, Ben. Hello, everyone.
Oh, nice to see you.
Hello,
Hello.
Alberto. How are you? You seem to be in India?
No, not yet. I
Not
will.
yet.
Oh, Professor, good morning. I will go to India next week. I'm
Next.
still in Italy.
Um,
Must be early morning there for you.
It's 6 a.m.
Okay.
good afternoon, Professor Kato.
Hello,
It's
Sensei.
the afternoon.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Hi, Dr. Hui.
Konnichiwa. I'm good. How you doing?
Konnichiwa. So today, our fellow, that now we have a four fellow, the two from Ukraine, the one is from Romania,
Uh,
the other one is from Nepal. They will all join. Yes. Hi,
Hi,
Grace.
Professor Kato. How are
Hi, how are
you?
you?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Soro.
So, Katja.
Hi. Hi, Divya. How are you?
I'm fine, madam. How about you, madam?
So thank you very much for your lecture. Maybe we will very much expect your lecture.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Hi.
So
today's MC?
yeah, so it's one
It's
this
one.
1 p.m. in Japan time. So we are still missing Felice and also Eddie. So, but our first speaker, Alberto, is here. Shall we start with Professor Alberto first? Professor Tato?
Sure.
Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So welcome to our third part of the Continental section of ACNS YNS webinars. So today we have Professor Alberto. Alberto is we are quite familiar with Professor Alberto. He's a professor of Department of Neurosurgery in the University of Verona in the UK. So today we are going to talk about how to improve the neurosurgery in our country and also the continent. So let's first to hear the sharing from Professor Alberto about his country and continent. Professor Alberto?
Thank you, Ben, for the nice introduction. Let me share my screen first. Okay, so probably you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, so I was asked to talk about the situation of neurosurgery in my country, in my department, and in my continent, Europe. First, short introduction about myself and where I come from. Some of you know this already, but I am from Europe. In particular, I'm from Italy, and I work in north part of Italy, in Verona. Verona is here in the Veneto region. The Veneto region is the region where the main city is Venice, which is here. And basically, my career developed mainly in the north part of Italy and also abroad. I had some periods abroad in the United States, in Japan, in China, for training. But in Italy, I had my residency program in this city here in Treviso. Then I moved to Padova, which is the main university hospital. Then I went to Modena, which is in the Emilia-Romagna region. It's here. And finally, I moved to Verona, where I currently work as an associate professor. So a few words about the history of neurosurgery in Italy, just to give you an idea. Well, the first documented trephinations in Italy are dated back to the 6th century before Christ, so very, very old time. And then we had many people who gave contributions to surgery and specifically to neurosurgery. Just to give you some examples, in the 13th century, Giuliano da Saliceto, which is a city in the north part of Italy, near the city of Piacenza, wrote the book Surgery of Nervous System, Central and Peripheral, from quacks and mystics to scientific basis. Again, Giulio Caserio discovered the anastomotic circulation at the base of the skull 37 years before Willis. Luigi Rolando discovered the sensory motor sulcus. And then probably you don't know this man. His name is Francesco Durante. He is the first man in the world, the first neurosurgeon in the world to successfully remove an intracranial meningioma. The patient survived 11 years after the operation. And then probably you know this instrument, which is the Gigli saw. This instrument was invented by another Italian, Leonardo Gigli, this man. He was an obstetrician, and he invented this twisted wire saw in 1898. And then, of course, I don't have time to mention many other important contributions, which are more recent. For example, the Guglielmi coils. Guglielmi was an Italian scientist who invented the coils, and the schools of Bologna and Napoli, who developed a lot the transsphenoidal endoscopic surgery. Probably many of you know our past president, Professor Cappabianca. But what about the situation of neurosurgery in Italy now? So now in Italy, we have 143 neurosurgical departments spread all around the country. And these departments perform a mean of 600 surgeries per department, with a very huge variability between 300 to more than 2,000 surgeries per department. In Italy, we are about 1,500 neurosurgeons, and there are 25 residency programs with more than 100 residency positions per year. And we have to consider that in Italy, the population is about 59 million inhabitants. So this makes one neurosurgeon per 39,000 people. So we can conclude that neurosurgery is very well covered in my country. Definitely, this number is a huge number of neurosurgeons for our population, and this has some pros and some cons, as we will see. So obviously, I have to admit at the beginning of my talk that Italy is a lucky country because we have resources, because we have wellness, and the standard of care is very high, and neurosurgery is very well developed. However, I tried in my talk to focus also on the problems that we have in Italy with neurosurgery. So what about the drawbacks? One of these problems is the differences between different regions. So in this map of Italy, you can see Italy divided into its 20 regions. And these regions are colored in different colors based on their ability to meet the standard minimum level of healthcare. And it's pretty evident that in the north part of Italy, the regions are very well able to meet these standards of care. This refers to healthcare in general, of course, not just neurosurgery, but this can give you an idea about these differences we have with different regions in Italy. And there is this contrast between a very good standard of care in north part of Italy and more difficulty to meet this standard of cares in the south part and islands of Italy. So this is one problem. The other problem also involving neurosurgery is malpractice litigations. I don't know about your countries, maybe later we can discuss about this, but in the last years, these legal problems increased a lot in my country. And obviously, this involves also the field of neurosurgery. There are many reasons for that. Probably less trust in doctors among the population. Probably economical crisis pushing people to find a way to get money somehow. Some also bad habits from some lawyers. Here we have many advertising about the possibility for patients to sue the doctors and the hospitals, which is probably not so good. We have also to say that people are more aware about the health system and the possibilities they have to get their health problems solved. There is internet, they can get information. This is good from one point, but can be risky from another side, because maybe they read wrong information. They expect one kind of treatment, or they expect 100% success from surgery, because we have the perception of death that it's completely different from the past. In the past, people accepted death much better than now, for sure. So for many reasons, we have this problem increasing in Italy. Another problem in Italy is linked to training. So as you remember, I said that we have 25 residency programs in my country with more than 100 positions for new residents every year. For a population of 59 million people, not only I, but we neurosurgeons believe that these numbers are too high. So 100 positions for new residents every year is too high. I remember when I was a resident, the positions available were about 50. So in a few years, this number more than doubled. And this is the result of bad planning by the Italian government, of course, and probably it's the result also of a mismatched relationship between the regions who are asking to the central government for resources and positions, and the central government, who probably does not take into consideration these requests from the regions. So there is probably understanding problem between different levels of the administration. And the result is that we have more neurosurgeons than we need. Probably the number of neurosurgeons are good for the number of neurosurgical departments, but they are not good from the point of view of a balance between the population and the number of doctors. What I mean is that probably in Italy we should cut the number of neurosurgical departments, because if you have too many neurosurgical departments, obviously you need more neurosurgeons to cover the on-calls and the duties. But if you have more neurosurgeons, it means that the caseload of patients, of surgical patients per neurosurgeons decreases a lot. And this is a problem for training. We face this issue every day with our residents. They are really too many to be able to provide them a full training in the OR. Another historical problem for Italy is the restriction for cadaver labs, which is a paradox for a country like Italy, which was very famous in the past for the possibility to do cadaver dissections. This picture shows you the old anatomical theater, which is located at the University of Padova, the place where I graduated, actually. This is the oldest wood anatomical theater in the world. It was used in the 14th, 15th, 16th century to do cadaveric dissections. And many people from abroad came to Italy and to Padova to be able to do this kind of dissections, because at that time in their countries it was not allowed to perform. But later on, some new laws were introduced in Italy, forbidding basically the possibility to do cadaver dissections, especially brain dissection. And this is a clear problem for training young neurosurgeons. So for many years we had to buy the heads from abroad or go abroad to do cadaver dissections. Recently, probably we are trying to get better in this. I know that in Padova, they recently established a program for body donation, which is the very first program of body donation in Italy, and this probably will help recovering this kind of training in my country. My department of neurosurgery is located in Verona, which is, as I told you, in the north part of Italy. This is a view of part of the hospital along the Adige River. So as for any other place, there are some good things, but also bad things. So let's see very shortly the good part, which is actually a large part. I have to admit, we are a large center. We have 64 beds, 12 beds dedicated to ICU. We have 4 ORs running every day. We are able to perform almost any kind of surgery, neuro-oncological, spinal, pediatric, posterior cranial fossa surgery, vascular surgery, endoscopy, radiosurgery. We have intraoperative monitoring available in multiple operative theaters almost every day. We have neuronavigations, we have 4 operative microscopes, endoscopes, ultrasonic aspirators. So we have many devices and instruments, and we have the departments of neuroradiology, neuro-oncology, neuroanesthesiology, who actively collaborate with us in a very nice way. I think it's also good to have the university linked to a hospital and to a neurosurgical department, because we have the possibility to train new generations of neurosurgeons, and this gives the trigger to study more and to do deep discussions during the ground rounds and specific meetings about the patients and how to treat them, and discussing also the failures that we have. Obviously, there are also some bad things. We have a lot of instruments, as I said, but many of them are quite old, some old devices, and being a public center, as we are, implies that we have to respect some budget restrictions. So this probably slows down the possibility that we have to, improve our instruments and devices with the new ones. And also, as I mentioned before, we have these training issues. So we are the largest residency program in Italy, along with La Sapienza in Rome, and we have many residents. Obviously, as I said before, this is a problem for providing a complete training in DOR for our young residents. We have 4 operative theaters, but we have more than 30 residents. So this number is very high. We try to fix this problem with agreements with other neurosurgical departments close by Verona, so we can send our residents to their departments to be able to get more surgery. And also we send our residents abroad for fellowship programs. And this is a way to, try to bypass this training issue. What about the ugly in Verona? Well, fortunately, nothing is ugly in Verona. We are lucky enough to have a wonderful city, as you can see from these pictures. It's a really, really nice city with many tourists visiting every year. Maybe some of you know the Arena Theater, ancient Roman theater, which is still used nowadays for concerts and operas. And you know that Verona is the city of Romeo and Juliet. This is the Juliet's house, so nothing ugly, fortunately. What about the situation in Europe? Also in Europe, there are some problems, of course, when we talk about neurosurgery. I give you some examples. The quality of care is quite different if you compare different countries. Of course, Northern European countries are well known to be very well developed and quite rich, and so able to provide a very high standard of care compared to other countries, for example, in Eastern Europe or in the Balkan area. And this, of course, is due to different resources that our countries in Europe have. Also, there is a variable accessibility to educational resources. There are some countries that are quite rich and they can provide educational resources to their young neurosurgeons very easily, and other countries that don't have these kind of resources for training and education. In Europe, we have a lot of integration from some points of view. We have many countries in Europe. Those in the European Union have, for example, a common market. We have a common currency, the euro. But when it comes to integration for workers, this integration is not complete. What do I mean? I mean that if an Italian neurosurgeon wants to move to other countries in the European Union to work, it's not so easy to get a job. So mobility between different countries is possible technically and legally, but not so easy. I think we have to try to improve this integration and also to involve other countries in Europe, but not only in Europe, for educational purposes. These shown here are different agreements that we signed between the University of Verona and other universities in Europe and outside Europe to improve this accessibility to education and training for young neurosurgeons, but also for fully trained neurosurgeons. Because we really believe that mobility is important to improve our skills. So, for example, we signed an agreement with the University of Sarajevo, if we want to stay in Europe, but also outside Europe with the Bukhara State Medical Institute in Uzbekistan and with Universitas Airlangga in Indonesia. These are all ways to try to face the problem of limited education for young neurosurgeons. And if we talk about problems in Europe about neurosurgery, but not only neurosurgery, unfortunately, I cannot avoid to mention the situation in Ukraine, which is lasting for so long now, the war in Ukraine. Obviously, this became the major problem in Europe in the last 2 years. The war in Ukraine, of course, is a tragedy and has implications also for neurosurgeons and for neurosurgical training. So I was very happy to see that Professor Kato opened her department to Ukraine fellows recently. I think this initiative can help facing the training problems that that country can have in this period. I want to mention also about some issues in the European Union. Of course, Europe is a continent with many countries, but as you know, some of these countries are linked one to the other inside this European Union, which is a bless, of course. It brought many good things to European populations, but there are also some drawbacks, specifically about neurosurgery. And I'm talking about the new European Union medical device regulation, which was approved in 2017 and became active recently. So with the aim of increasing safety of medical devices, the European Union set very strict standard of quality laws. And this implies increase of costs for the companies to get the validation for their devices. The consequence of this is that the companies are now checking whether these new costs are affordable for them. And they are basically selecting the devices and the instruments that have a huge market, and so they will certify those devices. But they basically don't certify the devices that are not so widely used. So some niches of neurosurgery are paying a tribute for these new laws. For example, in neuroendoscopy, we cannot use some endoscopes anymore because of this law. So a law that was taught and produced for a good reason is now basically killing some areas of surgery, not only neurosurgery, but also, for example, heart surgery have these problems. So we are trying to find the way to bypass this problem, but it's not easy. So some final thoughts. Of course, we have some pros and some cons everywhere, also in Europe, also in Italy, and we have two choices. We can accept both pros and cons and keep working as we have always done, or we can accept pros and try to find a solution for cons. And I gave you some examples on about how we are trying to give some answers to some of the problems that I mentioned. So I think I finished my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready for the discussion, of course.
Thank you so much, Professor Berto. So may I ask if there's any questions on the floor? Actually, yeah,
Okay.
Professor Bello, please.
Yes. So Albert, thank you very much for the nice lecture and also the guidance of the whole Europe and also the Italy. So in Italy, you mentioned about some number is balance is not good for resident and the cases. So in your neurosurgical society, so how you can improve or resolve such a problem? Maybe you can send some other countries you mentioned. Any help as an Asian Congress? Just let us know, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Professor, for your question. Actually, the Italian Neurosurgical Society perfectly knows about this unbalanced problem. And our national society in the past years sent a letter to the Italian Ministry of Health discussing about this problem. The problem is that the Italian government basically does not take into full consideration the position of doctors, which is very sad. So they take this as a political decision, and they don't listen enough to doctors who actually work in the field. The Italians in Neurosurgical Society asked for a reduction of the positions for neurosurgical new residents in the last years, but the result was the increase of these positions. Why this happens? Probably for many reasons. One reason is COVID, for example. You all remember the pandemic. During the pandemic, we had the big problem of not having enough doctors to face the emergency. In Italy, we had a big issue initially at the initial part of the pandemic, and so there was a popular feeling saying that the government should increase the number of doctors' positions, which was true, but they should have increased the number of positions for emergency care or for infectious disease care. And what the government did was actually increasing the positions, but in a linear way. So they increased the positions for all the residency programs. So I really think that sometimes politicians don't listen to the people who are actually working in that field, and they take decisions just to, get positive feedbacks from the population and not to really fix the problem that the population has. And of course, about the possibility to, face this problem, as I mentioned, yes, I agree that we have to increase the collaborations with other countries, maybe countries that have the opposite problem. They have maybe less neurosurgeons compared to the population. So this can be a good way to get the maximum from both sides. So we can provide some doctors to face the lack of doctors in that country, and in exchange, our young doctors can get some better education in the practical way.
Thank you very much, Albert. Maybe I think Vietnam is so many the cases. I think maybe the Dr. P is here, so maybe sometimes you can send the Vietnam society, especially the Bed Doc Hospital is one of the largest one. And also
We can make an agreement
Absolutely.
then.
Yeah.
We can make an agreement between our hospitals for exchanging program.
Yes,
Absolutely.
But sometimes in Japan, is a tendency is open surgery is getting less and less, and everybody and also patient wish to have a less invasive treatment. That means is open surgery going to the endovascular or radio surgery. So I think the case itself is changing now. I think maybe in the future everything will change. It's a time, I think. So maybe we should think about that. Thanks so much. Excellent talk.
Professor Alberto, can I ask you a question? It was a wonderful talk. It gave
Thank
a very good view about Italian university. So, like, is it only a government practice, or is there any practice in Italy?
So we have both.
Private hospitals?
Yeah, we have both public system and private practice in Italy. I would say that more than 80% is covered by public. So historically, public is dominating in Italy, which is good for the patients because everything is provided basically for free. So if you need a MRI, you pay a very cheap amount of money, like 40 euros for a brain MRI, which is ridiculously low. It's covered by the government. If you need a surgery, it's completely free for Italian citizens, so you pay nothing. So if you are a patient, this is the El Dorado, you get a very high level of healthcare and you spend nothing. For the economical balance of my country, obviously, this is tough. because I think we spend about 70% of our resources, national resources, in healthcare, which is a huge amount of money.
Wow.
Yeah. But obviously, I think it's a good system. There are some areas where the public system is not able to, provide everything for everyone. So in this context, of course, in this environment, the private practice increases. And recently, in the recent years, the private practice is getting more and more strong. But still, the majority of healthcare is provided by government. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Alberto, can I make a short comment and also ask some questions? So, yeah, I think this situation is the condition of the mismatch between the training and the number of residents is quite common, or not common, but sometimes it happens in developed country. And of course, the same, I think, in Hong Kong about the mismatch and the shortage of cases. And I think doing a subspecialization is one of the solution to that. But I guess in your situation is also involving the political issues. And the same situation actually is like in Korea, where they have a big strike where doctors sent to jail because of the strike. So they're increasing the number of the medical students, also a huge number of them, causing the problems. And I think with that case, the training would be difficult. As mentioned by Professor Kato, the standard of the neurosurgery is going to change a lot. And I think one of the reason is one of the solution is to subspecialize and so that they will have a unique set of skills to overcome that. And but yeah, it's a very difficult situation and need to travel all around the world, maybe to have fellowships. When you have holiday, maybe you need to sacrifice your own holiday from the hospital to get the training. I think that's the reason how neurosurgeons can train up themselves. And I think because the government or sometimes even the Department of Health in your country that don't understand the unique situation of that subspecialties, and that the way to train is very difficult, especially in your situation where even the use of the cadaver is restricted. There will be a very difficult situation. And I have some questions about the condition in Europe. I would like to ask about for the training standard is in Europe. I mean all the countries, are they standardized by the YNS, or they have a unique situation within each countries? So how do they recognize themselves? And my second question is about the condition of UK. So because of the political reason, UK is now not considered to be in Europe, as far as I know. So would that be any issue with the UK neurosurgery? And my third question is about for you mentioned about the in Europe or in your country. So the introduction of the new equipment or some advanced technology would be very difficult. So what do you think is the solution? And because sometimes in our specialty, we sometimes depends on the sponsorship from the companies. Let's say for organizing workshops and
Ben, can you make short, please?
Yeah, okay. So any comments? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. I will try to answer your questions. First, you asked about the integration of training in the European countries. Obviously, we have the YNS, which is the European Association of Neurosurgical Doctors and Societies. Well, we don't have a standardized training program in Europe. We don't. So each training program is strictly dependent on the single country. So no, the answer is no. There is no integration in this kind of training. However, the YNS is trying to act as a, network between these different training programs. And YNS is running since many years already a training program, YNS training program, which is a 4-year program where neurosurgeons, young neurosurgeons or residents can apply. And in this way, they are trying to provide a theoretical neurosurgical education to neurosurgeons from different countries. So the same kind of theoretical education. I said theoretical because, of course, it's very difficult to standardize the practical training around Europe. So there are some countries where if you are a resident, you can expect to perform even aneurysm clipping by the end of your residency program. And other programs in Europe where you will never clip an aneurysm before the end of your program. So there are these differences. You asked about the possibility to improve devices also, and the importance of sponsors. Of course, resources are very important, sponsors are very important, but I believe that in the last years, at least in my country, the impact of sponsors decreased a lot. So companies are less prone to spend money on probably developed countries like they were in the past. So basically, the possibility to improve our devices with new ones is dependent on the resources of the region where you are working at. So in Italy, we have a government system, but the actual power of spending money is given to the single regions. And if the region has the money, you have more chances to get the new devices. If your region has a, budget problem, then of course you will never see a new device in your department. And the last question was about United Kingdom. United Kingdom is Europe, but it's not European Union anymore, as you know. It's a very unique situation. I don't have updated information about the situation of neurosurgery in United Kingdom right now. I know, however, that in United Kingdom, they have always had less number of neurosurgical departments, so a less number of neurosurgeons. So I guess that the training problem is not so impacting in that country, I guess, but I don't have fresh information about that. Anyway, yes, nowadays United Kingdom is outside the European Union, so basically they are also outside this kind of connections. But recently we are trying to find different ways to have this kind of connections outside the area of the European Union.
Thank you so much, Alberto. Indeed, a very interesting talk. So for the next speaker, since Dr. Fries and also Dr. D was not here yet, so Dr. Diva, would you mind if we can start with your presentation first about the condition and of neurosurgery in India?
Sure, Dr. Ben.
Yeah,
I
thank
will
you.
share
so
my
much.
screen.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, please make in the presentation. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So first of all, I thank Asian Congress of Neurological Surgeons and Professor Keto for giving me this opportunity to talk about the neurosurgery in India. So I'm Dr. Divya Palanisamy. So I come from Tamil Nadu, the southernmost state of India, one of the 28 states in India. So I completed a DNB in neurosurgery in the year 2014. I did Fujita Fellowship for 2 months in 2018 under Professor Keto. And I completed FRCS Intercollegiate Neurosurgery exam in 2019. I was the first ACNS WINS chairperson in the year 2019 as guided by Professor Yoko Keto. And I'm practicing as an individual consultant from 2016 in Vellore, Tamil Nadu, in Narayani Hospital and Research Center. So recently, like we have bought a navigation system, we have endoscopy, we have CUSA, and we have a very good microscope. And I do both cranial and spinal surgeries, cervical to lumbar, open spine surgeries I'm doing. So I do cranial, mostly oncological works, and I do endoscopy also. This is my basic background. So India, coming to Indian demography, this is India, Indian map. So we have, I come from Tamil Nadu, the southernmost state of India. So, you know, like India, we are the most populous country in the world with 1.45 billion population, constituting 1/6 of the world's population. And however, the land area of India is only 2.4% of the world's land area. So we have 28 states and 8 union territories, and there are lots of ethnic groups and multiple languages are spoken in India. And around 62% of the population live in villages as per the 2011 census. However, it would have come down by this time in the means 15 years. So we have central government and state governments taking policy in the healthcare. So this is India, like constituting only 2.4% of the land area of the world. So coming to the basic healthcare system in India, as per 2020, the total health spending as percentage of gross domestic product of a country, like India spends only 3% of its GDP on healthcare. So we are at the 78th rank. So if you compare in Japan, they spend around 10% of their GDP for healthcare, and USA spends 18%. So, and again, total health spending per person in international dollars as per 2000. In 2020 data. So India spends only $57 per person, but Denmark spends $6,438 per person. So we are at 77th rank in this. So the number of doctor per number of people. So this is in India, there is 1 doctor per 1,000 population, which actually equals the WHO norm. However, it varies from state to state. There are 28 states, I told. So from state to state, it varies. In Tamil Nadu, there is 1 doctor per 253 people. And in the Jharkhand state, there is 1 doctor per 8,180 people. So number of beds per people is an important indicator of the healthcare system of a country. So in Japan, for 1 patient, there are 12 beds. But in India, for 2 patients, there is 1 bed, approximately as per the 2017 census. So infant mortality rate is an indicator of the level of health in a country. As per 2022 data, in India, there are 26 deaths per 1,000 live births. So, but in other countries like Malaysia, developed countries, in Japan, USA, actually it is very less. However, this infant mortality rate also varies from state to state. It's not uniform throughout the India. Every state has its own healthcare system. So state governments makes the policies, so it varies. One of the states, Kerala, there is only 6 deaths per 1,000 live births, but in Madhya Pradesh, it is 46 deaths per 1,000 live births. So coming to the health expenditure by the type of financing in percentages, like there are throughout the world, actually in every country, there are voluntary health insurance, compulsory health insurance, and government schemes which cover the healthcare. And people also pay out of their pocket, that is private practices. So in India, 65% of the health expenditure is out of the person's pocket. So only 22% of the healthcare expenditure is covered by the government schemes. If you see the developed countries, it is less. Out-of-pocket expenditure in Japan, USA, Denmark, it is less. So most of it is covered by compulsory health insurance or the government schemes. But in India, so the privatization has geared up. It is more than the government system. So however, in the last 4 years, there are lots of government insurance schemes coming up. So a patient can get their medical service in a private hospital. Government will pay to the private hospital for the medical service. So that system is gearing up, but it has reduced the out-of-pocket expenditure. However, I don't have the exact data now. So public healthcare in India is free for every Indian resident. However, it covers only 18% of the outpatient care and 44% of the total inpatient care. The rest of all are done by the private setup. So, and these public healthcare scatters mostly the rural areas. And if you see the spread of doctors, 74% and only 26% of the doctors are serving in the rural areas where most of the population live. So in Madhya Pradesh, one of the states in India, there was a study. There is one doctor per around 8,000 people in rural areas of Madhya Pradesh, but there is one doctor per 834 people in cities. So that's how in rural to urban, there is a big gap in the healthcare system in India. So overall view of healthcare in India is like it varies from different state to state, because state governments also make the policy, it makes a difference, and it varies from urban to rural areas. There is a big gap, and there are more doctors crowded in the cities, and because the more facilities are available for their professional growth in urban areas. Privatization is more and more than the government health system in India, and government insurance schemes are clearing up in the last 4 years. So let us see how it makes a difference. However, the percentage of gross domestic product spent for healthcare in India is very, very less. All these things affects the neurosurgical practice in India also. So coming to the medical course in India, we have the undergraduate degree, MBBS, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, which is for 5.5 years, including 1 year of internship. There are around 70,000 to 80,000 MBBS doctors coming out every year from around 600 medical colleges in India. So there are 13 lakh, that is 0.13 million doctors registered as of June 2022. Neurosurgery in India, we have 2 super specialty courses, MCH and DNB. MCH is Master of Surgery and DNB is Diploma of National Board. MCH is offered from government hospitals and DNB is offered from the private hospitals. So after completing MBBS, the undergraduation degree, one can do direct 6 years of neurosurgery, either MCH or DNB, or they can, after MBBS, they can do 3 years of general surgery. After that, if they are willing to do neurosurgery, they can again pursue 3 years of neurosurgery. This is how we have the courses. So there are around 500 candidates, neurosurgeons come out every year as per 2022 data. There are 3,700 neurosurgeons for 1.35 billion population in 2022. Approximately there is 1 neurosurgeon per 0.36 million population. That is 3.5 lakh population. Women neurosurgeons, we constitute only 2.5%, around 70-75 are board certified women neurosurgeons in India. So coming to the neurosurgical practice in government hospitals, like less GDP is spent, and so there is a lack of infrastructure in many of the government hospitals, except the premium hospitals like AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, or JIPMER, NIMHANS, and Sri Chitra or Christian Medical College, and some of the state-sponsored government hospitals. Except these hospitals, other hospitals do not have a good microscope, they may not have CUSA, navigation. These systems are not available. If you go to rural areas or peripheral areas, actually, even basic infrastructure, basic amenities may not be available. So most of the courses, the neurosurgical residency is MCH, and most of them come from the government hospitals. So they are not exposed to advanced technologies during their residency program. So after they come out, after completing neurosurgery residency, they are forced to do some training, go for some other training in good centers. So if you work in government hospitals, then you will be posted in rural services in rotation, once in 2 years or once in 3 years. So in rural, if we go to rural areas, then the basic amenities may not be there. So we may not be able to do neurosurgical practice very well. The professional growth may be affected. So many of us, like, we don't prefer to work in government hospitals because of these reasons. And if you want to do research, though they in government hospitals, they do lot of work. But however, protecting the data and collecting the data, they are very difficult than the private setup. So, and yes, the salary which is provided by the government hospitals is less than the private hospitals. So these problems, and also multiple other reasons, like many of us, like, we prefer to work in private hospitals. So if we take neurosurgery in private hospitals, yes, the private hospitals have very good infrastructure, especially in cities, especially in corporate hospitals. Many advanced technology they have. Many of the technologies may not be introp MRI, may not be introp CT, but other all facilities are available in many of this city corporate hospitals. So the students who does neurosurgical training from there, they are exposed to the all advanced technologies there, but the expenditure for all these treatments is very high for the patients. So in the rural hospitals, in the private hospital, neurosurgery private hospitals, actually they have basic amenities. So they do mostly, they cover up all spine, trauma, and also general neurosurgery. But if a patient comes with large tumor or aneurysms, or they need intervention, they have to be referred to the city hospitals. So corporate versus individual hospitals, earlier, many of the neurosurgeons, they started their own hospitals in their areas, in the peripheral areas, and they were practicing. But now, the cost of the land has gone very high, real estate has gone very high. So if you want to build a hospital, 50-bedded hospital in, for example, in Tamil Nadu, we have to spend more money, like 20 to 30 crores minimum it comes. So like many of us, like, we feel like more than building our own hospitals, we prefer to work in other private hospitals, especially now the corporate hospitals are coming up. It's consuming most of the individual small private setups. So after completing neurosurgical residency, whether one does DNB from private hospitals or NCH from government hospitals, they have to go for good training. They need some good training in good centers after residency, because in DNB, it's a private hospital. Private hospitals provide this DNB as part of central government Ministry of Family and Welfare, and they have lack of hands in private hospitals, so they need to improve their surgical skills after completing DNB. In MCH, mostly from the government hospitals where the basic infrastructure is inadequate. So though they are having lots of hands-on training, but they are not up to date with the advanced technology. So they need some training, whether DNB or MCH, they have to come out work in good centers for a few years, and they have to do some fellowship also. So type of neurosurgeries we do in India, like name any surgeries, we do all sorts of surgeries. There are big centers, they do all sorts of surgeries. So peripheral, if you take the government hospitals, the neurosurgery in government hospitals, or peripherally located private hospitals, they are able to manage traumatic brain and spine injuries, and also they are able to manage the neurosurgical emergencies. For advanced surgeries, definitely the patients have to come to urban, private, and big premium institutes or better government hospitals. So even intervention is like gearing up in India. So means all sorts of surgeries are performed in India. There are lots of giant neurosurgeons here, and we have medical tourism especially in private hospitals. So many foreign patients come here and get the treatment at less cost, like Arabian countries, African countries. Many of them come here, especially to CMC, Apollo hospitals. Many hospitals, and they are coming. So coming to how to improve the neurosurgery practice, like yes, it involves multiple levels. So first, there are 70,000 to 80,000 MBBS doctors coming out every year, but only there are 500 seats available neurosurgical seats are available, and many of them are not interested. Sometimes these seats are not filled completely. So we have to motivate the MBBS candidates, and once they join residency, yes, the attrition rate should come down. Yeah, for young neurosurgeons, we have to create lots of opportunities to develop their skills, and senior neurosurgeons, yes, they have to continuously upgrade. And finally, the government has to play a major role to improve general healthcare by and also the neurosurgical care. So how to motivate the undergraduates? During MBBS times, undergraduate time, we don't have any exposure to neurosurgery. Some of the countries, actually, the residents, the MBBS candidates, undergraduates, they go to multiple departments and find out which department they are interested in. But here in our curriculum, MBBS undergraduate curriculum, we don't have any exposure to neurosurgery. So what they can adapt is, they can 1 month during internship of undergraduate practice, they can be posted in neurosurgery, so that they can get to know the life of a neurosurgeon with the long duty hours, long hours of surgeries. However, at the end, it's a very good outcome that they see for the patients. So it may kindle interest in neurosurgery, and also like conducting quiz for the UG students and sponsoring them to attend the neurosurgical conferences, which is happening nowadays. We are the residents are also participating in neurosurgical conferences. So this way we can actually expose them to neurosurgery, make them understand what is neurosurgery, and kindle the interest. So during residency, we have to reduce the attrition rate. So when I was doing GNB neurosurgery 5 years course, actually 2 male surgeons joined, but they both quit. So there are lots of attritions happening, but we don't have the exact data of attrition rate in India. However, it is happening. So recently they have started mentor-mentee program. I hope it helps by improving the morale and boosting the residents, and also like providing the residents with basic facilities like restrooms and all those things makes a difference. And also like taking them for get-togethers and encouraging them, and improving the neurosurgical curriculum, making the neurosurgical curriculum interesting. So I think that will reduce the attrition rate. I have not done cadaver dissection. I have not done temporal bone drilling as part of the neurosurgical curriculum. We don't have any labs. So maybe in the neurosurgical curriculum, they should be part of neurosurgical curriculum. Cadaver dissection, temporal bone drilling, neurosimulation, all those things. And neuro intervention is also not part of the neurosurgical curriculum. I have seen only one center, like in Delhi, like where the residents are trained in neuro intervention. So they are able to perform DSA at the end of residency. At the same time, they are able to do basic aneurysm, coilings, all those things they are able to do. So this should become a part of neurosurgical curriculum in future. And then in the government hospitals, yes, the trained faculties should be increased, and also they should be provided with good infrastructure, good basic advanced improvement equipments. So because if the equipments are good, the training is good, the residents coming out of these government hospitals will be more confident, and they will be able to perform very well immediately after coming out of residency. And my suggestion is, like, we have this 6 years after MBBS, 6 years direct neurosurgery course. I feel this is better than the 3 years post-MS neurosurgery course, because 5 years of intensive neurosurgery training we have more confidence than those who come out with 3 years of neurosurgical residency training. And then we in India, we don't have subspecialty practice in neurosurgery, except a few centers. So we don't have exposure to this during the residency. So what I can suggest, at the end of the last year of neurosurgical residency training, the students can be posted in subspecialty departments wherever it is available, so that they can find which field they are interested in and proceed, means they can do fellowship later. And yes, in India, traumatic brain and pain injuries are the most common neurosurgical treatment required. So all the residents should be trained, so that even if they can go to peripheral areas, they can be able to manage all this. And then is like motivation for research, publication, presenting in conferences. These are done in every neurosurgical program, and curriculum varies in different countries. As Professor Alberto told, the neurosurgical curriculum is not same in every country. So maybe we can form a neurosurgical conclave. All neurosurgeons from different countries can come. We can discuss and improve adapt the best curriculum, form a best curriculum and adapt it to the country. So training for young neurosurgeons, yes, after completing residency, the first doubt we have is, will I be able to operate independently with the limited exposure that I have during the residency? Yes, as I told, whether it is MCH or whether it is DNB, like they have to work in a good center after a few years after their residency, and working as a team, collaborating with seniors, it helps. And there are lots of young neurosurgeons forum happening as part of the neurosurgical societies in India. So they are making lots of young neurosurgeons are coming up, they are presenting. So these experiences can help the other young neurosurgeons, and attending conferences, lots of workshops are happening in India, they can attend and then improve their skills. And in addition, they have YouTube's surgical videos, neurosurgical atlas, so many things to help them. And I went through the fellowship opportunities at national and international level. I did a search, what are the fellowships available in India for neurosurgery, but actually there is no common platform to find out what are the fellowships available in India. Most of them, it's limited, fellowships are limited, but however, they are not accredited. Only few are accredited by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare or DNB, but many of them are not accredited. Even then, they are very few in number. There is no standardization of fellowship programs in India. So coming to the senior neurosurgeons, yes, they can continuously update their knowledge by attending workshops and conferences, and they can act through the local, state, and national neurosurgical societies in making the policies, and they can conduct many programs for the young neurosurgeons at local, state, and national levels. The responsibilities of neurosurgical societies, already they are doing a lot. That's why the neurosurgery has come up to this level. But however, they can influence more, influence the government more in policy making. They can set the standards and create protocols in Indian neurosurgical management, and they can increase the number of fellowship opportunities. They can identify and encourage. And they are collaborating already with international societies, but they can create more fellowship opportunities through the international collaboration. So government finally, the development, overall healthcare has to improve, then only the neurosurgical care will increase. So the government plays the major role. They have to provide basic infrastructure to all government hospitals so that the residents coming out of these government hospitals come out with all full-fledged. So, and they have to increase the number of neurosurgical seats. 70,000 to 80,000 MBBS undergraduates comes out, but only 500 seats are available. So this has to be increased. And increasing the healthcare expenditure percentage of GDP, that is very important. It's only 3%. I think it should be increased. And the government should listen to the neurosurgical societies, their recommendations in policy making, and only the government can reduce the gap between the urban and rural healthcare. And the government insurance scheme systems are gearing up. I think it should increase more. So thank you. And these are the references. Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Diva, and very in-depth analysis of the situation of neurosurgery in your countries. So may I ask if there are any comments from the floor?
So Divya, thank you very much. Oh, sorry, Albert. So thank you very much for your nice presentation.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Yeah,
we are very proud of you because you studied a lot with us during your stay in Fujita.
Thank you.
Can you tell us how you can teach the female neurosurgeon, because in India it's increasing the number, I think. So is there any discrimination, or if you have some plan, just let us know.
So like, how to say, like, I faced discrimination, but in some centers, actually the females feel that they never faced any discrimination. So it varies from state to state, from institute to institute, it varies, madam. So overall, when I conducted a study and asked whether the discrimination is there, almost 60% said there is not much discrimination. So whether it is true or not, actually, like, I'm surprised with the results. But yes, there is discrimination which is seen, but it is reducing. Women are coming up. So like, the women, like, when they want to pursue neurosurgery, actually the family support is very important, and they should be very strong. So, but actually those kind of women only take up neurosurgery. So most of them do not worry about this discrimination. They somehow find a way to come up with this discrimination. Now we have a women in neurosurgery group, so unofficial group, so through which helps, which definitely it helps the women residents. So the attrition rate, as far as I have seen, whoever has joined our group, actually they have never left. They successfully complete. So it's increasing, but still it is very less.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, Alberto? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Divya, for a very nice picture of the situation in India. Very interesting. I have a couple of questions. One is related to the people and the general situation of the healthcare. And the second one is related to neurosurgery and training. So in India, you have a huge population. So the population is keeping increasing. And you have shown that there are some issues for many people to access the healthcare. So my first question is, what is your government doing, or what is your government planning to do to face this problem, which is a huge problem? Of course, not easy to solve. Of course, there are potentially many ways to try to face it. We all remember China, for example, many years ago, set a birth control policy to try to, fix these and other problems. It's very controversial, but they did. And the second question is about training. Do you have in India fellowship programs? Because I'm asking because in Italy we don't have. It's not like in the United States where you can, improving a subspecialty doing a fellowship. In Italy, we don't have fellowship programs, which probably is another issue I forgot to mention in my presentation. I'm wondering whether in India you have or not fellowship programs. Thank you.
So, thank you, Professor Alberto. So I can answer only the second question. So the first question, I really don't have the answer. So for neurosurgery fellowships, yes, as I told, actually it is very limited, but we have few fellowship programs accredited by the government. So, but it is very, very few. So for neuro intervention, there are around 6 seats. For spine surgery, there are accredited fellowships, but other fellowships are not very much accredited. So few centers offer one cerebrovascular fellowship, 2-3 skull-based fellowships. It's very limited, Professor Alberto. For the number of neurosurgical residents coming out, the fellowship opportunities are very, very less. So we are finding, that's why we came to Japan to do the fellowship. So we have to go outside India to train ourselves in subspecialty. In India, the problem is the basic healthcare itself has to improve. So Italy and India, there is a big gap, the extremes of developments it is. So we, in India, we are trying to develop the basic healthcare system, basic neurosurgical amenities we are asking for. Even we don't have that. So when this basic needs are met, then only we can think of developing into subspecialty, I think. I think then only the subspecialty will develop in India. So it may take many years. So, but yes, population control, like actually they promoted birth control systems and all those things, but still it is increasing only. Means recently in Tamil Nadu, in our state, actually the birth rate has come down. So many of the families actually they want to have one child. So they are restricting their childbirth to one. So now actually it is in the decreasing trend. The government is trying to promote childbirth. So that is going on in Tamil Nadu. So it varies. India is not the same. It is different from different parts of the different states. So one area it is good. The other area it is very less. So uniform growth, it has to take many years, I think. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ben? Yeah.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi.
Thank you for your
Hi.
presentation.
Thank you.
I have one question. In my country, Vietnam, most of the pharmaceutical products and also like surgical devices are mostly imported from the foreign countries, some of them from India as well. I noticed that India is a giant economy with a lot of big pharmaceutical companies, and I think the pharmaceutical products from their own country might be cheaper than other developed countries like from the United States or Europe. So how is the volume of the drugs and also surgical devices used in your country come from Indian companies?
So in my practice, actually, I use mostly Indian companies. So because it is cheaper. So it depends. If you go to private hospitals, like big, especially corporate and those things, so only the upper class people go to those places. So they ask for the imported high quality implants. So like it depends on the places where you work. So in the place where I'm working, so we get population, they are not from the middle class. So we use actually Indian based companies. They are actually very good. So as you told, yes, India is one of the pharmaceutical companies are very high, and actually we are getting it at a cheaper rate. So that's why the medical tourism is very famous in India. So many from Saudi and Africa, they come here, and even some from UK. So they come here and get the surgeries done at a lesser cost because it is cheaper. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask the last question? I will ask follow on the questions on the condition of women in neurosurgery in your country. So I understand it will be quite difficult, but in daily lives, for example, if there is a chance of, let's say, training posts or some sponsor activities or some training courses quota, would that be favored to the male neurosurgeons instead of female neurosurgeon? Would you encounter this situation in your daily lives?
Sorry, I couldn't get you, Dr. Ben. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm meaning that so with the chance for the, let's say, the conference or sponsor activity or training posts and will be diverted to male neurosurgeons preferably instead of a female neurosurgeons.
Okay, discrimination you mean? Like I feel personally, like during residency, that is the tough time, even for men and women. For women, it is more. But this discrimination I have seen mostly during the residency. Once you come out of the residency, once you start practicing, yes, this discrimination comes down. But as you told, the sponsor and all those things, I don't think there is much discrimination I faced in my lifetime. So in India, generally people are comfortable with male neurosurgeons and then the female, I think. So here in India, so maybe the people may not prefer to go to a female surgeon. They prefer to go to a male surgeon. But even then, in my practice, I'm not finding much difference. So if you show that you are good in surgeries, like they come. They don't show much difference between a woman and a male neurosurgeon. It is less. It may be there, but it is less after residency.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think we are missing Dr. Fries and Adi because of some difficult personal issues. So maybe we will come to the early end of today's webinar. Maybe shall I invite Professor Kato to make the final remarks? Yeah, please unmute yourself, Professor Kato.
So maybe Dr. Liu is with us now. I think Dr. Liu, any comments? You can say. Hello, Dr. Liu. Hi, konnichiwa.
Hello.
Hi.
So sorry, Professor. I think two of our speaker unable to join us today. So I will post them again for next week, Professor. Thank you. Thank you to Prof. Divya and Prof. Alberto for a very excellent presentation for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think thank you so much, because Asian countries are so many hospitals and so many doctors. I think so many populations. So maybe I think Dr. Albert, maybe you can ask. I mentioned before, maybe not a government and government, but I think personal and personal. Maybe you can send your young colleagues to Vietnam or India. I think that is even small effort. I think it's one of the good advantage for young doctors in the future. How do you think? Sometimes Japanese doctor, of course, Japanese doctor do not have a much chance to do the surgery. And sometimes the Takizawa sensei will visit Vietnam. So maybe he stay 1 week, more than 20 surgeries, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that is a good chance for them. So I think exchange program in between the small community is very important thing. And
Yes.
maybe, and also maybe Divya, maybe you can some issue about some gender problem. Maybe I think you can maybe we will have another chance for you to report in future webinar, please. It's very, very important. Yes.
Okay,
So
yes, Professor.
in Japan, they're getting less and less the surgeon number. Many of the doctors do not want to take a surgery because very heavy load and working hour and less salary, something like that. So I think they want to become a physician, kind of physician. So very much interest radiologist, especially. I think many female doctors want to become a radiologist.
Radiologist, dermatologist.
Yeah. Dermatologist, yes. So I think it's another good interest for them. But anyway, thank you very much for it. It's wonderful talk. I invited 4 Ukraine, 2 Ukraine doctors, but I don't know, Dr. Ben, are they with us now?
I don't think they're here now.
So now we are doing a huge acoustic tumor. Takeuchi Sensei, Dr. Takeuchi from Nagoya University, he came and he is doing the surgery now. Very huge.
Right.
Patient is 30 years old. Can you imagine? 30 years old. So huge acoustic. She recognized about deafness, the same side deafness 5 years back, but she did not come to the hospital. But anyway, it's very admit the vascularity, the high vascularity, so lots of bleeding. Okay, so thank you very much for today's webinar. I think we're back then.
So yeah, so thank you everyone. So although today we have a slightly shorter webinar, but we have in this very interesting discussion. I think this kind of global neurosurgery we need to continue on this to know situation of each other and how can we reach out each other. I think every one of us have our own difficulties, but together we can solve it all together. So I'm glad that we are coming to the end of this today's webinar, but it's not the end of the series. So hope to see you next time. Just for promotion, tonight we'll have our ACNS regular webinar at the 9:30 p.m. In Japan time, and tomorrow we'll also have the ACNS Win section at 7 p.m. Japan time. So thank you very much today, and to see you all again. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
Divya, all the best. Bye bye.
Thank you, Professor
Bye.
Kato.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
So,
Professor Albert.
thank you. So where is Albert? You are outside?
Yes, I am actually visiting my parents in this weekend.
Oh.
So this is
that your
my
parents' house?
my parents' house. Yes,
Ah,
garden
oh.
here. So
Nice.
I'm on the terrace because it's very, very hot in these days. But early morning and evening, staying outside is so nice.
Okay.
So
So maybe
actually
around
greetings.
6 o'clock? What time is it
Now it's
Italy now?
7:20 a.m.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
actually, my parents send their greetings to you, Professor.
Thank you so much. Same to me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Mata.
bye, 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 bye.
Mata ne?
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.